for some gay shit.
Gay shit?
This poem is called When I Tell a Boy I Love Him. When I tell a boy I love him, I won't do it as brashly as I do everything else in my life. Bull in a china shopping my way through my entire existence, I know that I am liable to break each and everything that I touch, and I can't stand to break this one thing, so I will take out my tongue, sharp and venomous, and I will cut it open. Pour out the poison so he never has to see it shred anything around him. I will wrap it in bubble wrap and feathers, soften it the way a child would an art project. It doesn't have to look presentable, it just has to not hurt when I form the words. I will practice in the mirror, at least 5 times a day for a month, or 2, or 3, maybe a few years, because if I know anything about myself, it is that for a poet, God am I shit with words.
Woo!
Hi. But no, that's wrong. Everything that I say is actually really wrong, and I will chide myself for being too cliche, and then I will turn around and decide to be even more cliche. So cliche that the ghost of Shakespeare himself appeared in my room the other night and said, "Really?" So cliche that Emily Dickinson rolls her eyes. So cliche that Disney has already contacted me about a movie deal. They're currently fighting in my Twitter mentions with Hallmark right now, and I cannot do this without acknowledging that I am not soft anywhere but in his arms. That I am a boy in armor, that I have to take it off if I don't want to let it tip me over, so I decide to be gentle. To strip bare before him like the paintings in the Comer that I can't help but stare at for hours. I plan a day. It's not a date, it's just a day. One more bide for time to let my nerves buzz like fireflies. I know myself, and I am brash, and I am heavy-handed and stony-hearted because I have to be. I was made that way because it's the only way that I know to keep all the pieces together, to hold in the cracks. I will spend the length of the day staring at him and trying to capture him in photographs, remembering everything that isn't this moment, and afraid that I won't get any more of them. Because I am someone who breaks things. When I finally tell him I won't be able to form the words, it will take me 3 tries before I finally write it all down. A love letter. An actual, real-deal love letter like I'm Leonardo DiCaprio. Like I'm not holding a cell phone in my hands, all because I can't look him in the eyes. I hand him a letter and a lighter, because, and I so mean this, I would rather you burn that shit than read it. I don't think that I know how to love anything. Nobody really taught me. 2 missed dads and a lot of fighting at home doesn't really show you how to do that. So I turn to books and movies, and I think that from those, I've really learned that I am the brooding asshole who would rather die than admit that he's in love, if that's what I can call this. I'll tell him that, and then I'll tell him that I wish that I could be better, that he makes me want to be better, that the stars blink awake just to see his face, and that he's the sun on my every gloomy day. I'll tell him that he's a muse I write about even when I think I've lost my words, and then I'll tell him to burn the letter, and pretend that it never existed. Okay, so for some context, in my new book that I'm currently working on, there's a poem, and it is called Happy Birthday to Me, and it is a very sad poem because I have a history of depression. I have a history of being very depressed on my birthday. Pre-transition, it never really felt like that day was actually mine. But I'm happy to announce that I am now 2 years on testosterone and 2 years without the tablet. So I felt like I had to write another happy birthday poem, and I was walking on the street when I saw a disc that said 21 and over. And to be completely honest with you, this disc probably just had porn on it, but I'm a poet, so we have to make everything much more dramatic and magical than it actually is. So I took that as inspiration to write this poem, and it is titled 21 and Over. I have a tradition. Every year for my birthday, I do not smile. Because I have decided that this is the one time of year that I will not lie to myself. Letting pain sit next to me on the bus An old friend that tells me that it forgot the cake at the shop. I forgive it, and we celebrate in silence like mourners of the past year. This year, something is different. This year, someone told me they loved me, and I believed them. This year, I watched the sun rise on the beach, and I smiled at the cold air. This year, I got in a mosh pit for the first time, and my anxiety watched from the bar so as not to disturb my fun. This year, Felix told me that I was his first patient, and it felt good to see me not thinking about dying. This year, I told my therapist that the world makes an enemy out of me some days, but he told me that I don't have to be the villain of every story. This year, I wrote a love letter, and it never tasted smoke. This year, my cat's depression has been in remission, and she let me hold her again. This year, maybe sometimes my depression is in hibernation, and I let someone hold me again. This year, I sang every Taylor Swift song at the concert like it was my show. And I told my best friend someday it will be me up there, and I think I meant it. This year is different. I'm slowly learning how to love myself, like building a Lego house without a map, just a faint outline of where I want the pieces to fall. Being yourself in your career is not the same as when you aren't. Every dress and every painted nail is an act of defiance. The world is a Hunger Games. They tell you that you're free before you find yourself in the quarter quell. Finding yourself takes more time when you're dodging arrows. Being yourself when you're Black and Hispanic is not the same as when you aren't. Your skin is used like a transcript. They think that they can read before you can. Your body, a target you can't diminish. Every break from the mold causing a state of emergency. An earthquake rocking their perception of what it means to be a nigga. I can learn to forgive myself for not having it all together. I think that I have to. This year is different. Like learning to swim when you're afraid of the water, hours on the shore waiting for the waves to crash and pull you under. This year is different. Keeping my head above water is an art, a talent I did not think that I could master, but this year it's different. There's 1,000,001 reasons not to smile. This year I sit beside the few reasons I think that I should. Choosing to believe in them like fairies, the only way to keep them alive. I think that when I arrive at my own birthday party, it won't be a party just for two. I will have nothing left to mourn this time. I'll smile. Do we have time for one more short one?
One more.
More? Okay. So this one is more queer shit.
Woo!
Yeah.
It's called Did I Still Love You? Am I Wrong? Cut my throat, my love. Let me bleed for you like when we were kids, laying in mud and curses from unstitched mouths, screaming their hate at our self-noveling. I'd write myself into a tragedy for you. Oh, only for you. I still have the doll that you sent me, and I think that she's a spell. Her red hair reminding me of voodoo dolls of crazy teenagers barking at anyone who got too close. Messy in the way that they fought for each other, but even messier in the way that they fought each other. No one can hurt you like the love of your life. But when I said that I would die for you, I don't think that I knew I was swearing that you'd be the one to kill me. Driving the knife in again and again, taking pleasure in the sounds of my breath. I think that you loved me in the way that every killer loves their victims. It's such a vicious need. You told me to leave, and I sat like a dog outside the door, waiting for you to tell me to come back inside. You told me to stay, and I laid at your feet, crying that I'd never felt for anyone the way that I did for you. I think I love you with so much difficulty, the sheer drops of feeling could drown me standing up. Oh, but for you, you loved me like such a wicked curse. Muttering hymns under your breath, us, a religion of young fuck-ups who found each other, abandoning abandonment for codependency. I could never breathe without you, and it wasn't a life. So when I finally walked away, I wrote my will. And when they asked me to list everything that I had, I signed it only your name. Woo! If you'd like to check out my merch, I do have some on the table over here. I have stickers. Everyone loves stickers. I also have a couple copies of my first poetry book and some t-shirts that I had left over from the signing. So you can also follow my Instagram page under Stiles, that's Stiles. I IG _, and that's pretty much all of my social medias, including YouTube, where I like to do weird shit, and this will probably be posted. So.
WhatsInAVerse!